Alright guys, so welcome back to my channel. And in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to make use of Markdown. And Markdown is one of the most important skills a web developer should have. And what Markdown does is that it helps us to write codes, tests in an explanational way. Example of website that makes use of Markdown is Stack Overflow and Github. And on Github, when you deploy a project into your Github repository, you have to explain what that project is all about in Markdown. And that is one of the basic and most useful way to explain what you have in your project, and which will allow other people to be able to join your project. Maybe it's a public project and you need some people to participate on it, and that will give some developers a way to communicate with you and to know what your project is all about. And without further ado, let's dive in. So right here I have an extension called Markdown Preview Enhanced, and this extension helps you to be able to preview your Markdown when you are writing it directly on VS Code. And you can see right here the example right there that we have a Markdown, and beside it we have a tab that shows what you are writing in Markdown. And right here I have a file called readme.md, so I just name it according to maybe you are having a GitHub project and you need to add a readme file, and that will be okay. And right at the tab here I open a page called preview.readme, and this and what this page does is that it shows you what you are typing in readme and convert it into a normal text. And this is done by the Markdown enhanced preview that I just showed you. So if you want to be writing the Markdown, you need to be able to install it on your VS Code. So to get started, our first thing on Markdown is code span. So how to use a code span, so I just need to comment this out. So a code span, and to write a code span you just need to use the backticks. So backticks, and in between the backticks you should have your normal text, and that is maybe you just want to type maybe so hello world. And right here the reason I'm showing you this is that I want you to see the difference maybe in a dark mode and in a plain mode. So right here you can see the difference, and let me show you right there. So maybe let's load again, and okay, so as you can see here now it shows you a color, and this shows that it's a code. You are writing a code, and that will help you to identify a code from text. And right here in the white mode you can't able to tell, so that is it. And the next part is making use of code block. So code block, alright, so sorry, what is wrong? I think code block. Okay, so comment this out, and this code block you have to put a 3 backticks. So 1 2 3, and at the bottom you need to add 1 2 3. So right here you can type anything you need inside this code block, and you can see here now we have a dark background, and that is black. And so let me type it, maybe hello world, hello, maybe hello welcome. And right here let's show in a white mode, I think. So you can see here now this code block help you to span across all the page, but when you are using code span it will just capture only the text you have, and code block does is that it span across your page, and that is it. And The next part is making use of paragraph and paragraph. So paragraph, to make use of paragraph, you just have to type in the text, maybe lorem lorem 1, and just put a space bar and lorem 2, and you can see now it's directly in a new tab, and that is what we call paragraph. So I think paragraph is just pressing down your enter button and going to the next tab, and with that we have our headings. Also, assuming you have an headings, and in HTML we have on H1 to H6, and we also have H1 to H6 in Markdown. And to do that, you just have to type in, so let me put the heading, so right there, heading, and to type that, let me say you have an H1 right now, and to do that in Markdown you just have to put in £1, so a pound symbol, and let's say you have to type in maybe welcome, and that is how to type in Markdown, sorry. So welcome, and that is in H1, and in H2 you just have to put 2 hash, and that is you just have to type in the maybe welcome again, and you can see now it's smaller than the previous one. And another one is H3, that is maybe welcome back, you just type in welcome back. And we have H4, so H4 and welcome, and you can see the higher the pound symbol, the greater the smaller the text, and that is about the heading, and that means you have to put in the pound symbol. And a best practice is that don't add your text together with the pound symbol. You just have to put a space between it, because it can cause your code formatting to be to display an error. So the best practice is add a space between your symbols, and that is it for the heading. And for the next part, we'll be using the block quote, and that is for the block quote. And to use the block quote, just have to put in the maybe, let's just, don't know what to call this one, maybe arrow symbol. So, and just adding your text like this, and that is a code block, and that means you have a quote in your Markdown, and you can type in according to how many quotes you just want to have in your maybe hello world. Let's type in hello world right here. And another one is you can use your code block in many ways. You can have a paragraph within your code block, and to do that, some people might think you just have to add a space between your text. No, you can't add a space. You just have to add another quote symbol, block quote symbol, and then come to the bottom again and add another one. So you can type in maybe hello world again, and you can see now we have a space between the first word and the second word. And right here we can have a nested quote, and that is when you put in double arrow symbol, and you can see now we have a nested quote inside of our block quote, and that is how to add in a block quote, and followed by the italic symbol. So right here, let me just add the, so let me block quotes. So right here, this is a block quote, and right here, let me comment this out. That is a block quote. And we have we have bold, so you can bold your text in Markdown. So what you just need to do is add a double asterisk symbol, so, and type in your words maybe, and you can see that our text is not in bold in a bold form. That is because we have a space between the text and the symbol, and that shouldn't be it. So right here you just need to make it come all together, and right here you can see we have a bold text, and that is for the bold text. And let me say bold. Let me comment this out. And another second way to add a bold text is using an underscore. So underscore, maybe bold, and add another one, and you can see right here that we have a bold text, and using the asterisk symbol is the best practice, and using the underscore symbol is not always advisable, because if you have a multiple text and you have to add a bold style to it, you won't be able to get a great result. And let's see now what I'm talking about. Maybe let's say maybe I am SD, so short for syntactic depth. So I want to bold the I am, maybe am symbol, so right here, and this is it, and right here. As you can see now that we have a bold symbol right here, we have the symbol in a bold form. And coming back here, let's just say we want to add the same thing too, so I underscore, so am, so underscore SD, and you can see right here that it's not working because we are making use of underscore. So underscore doesn't work among combined text. And let me put a space right there and see, and you can see here now it works perfectly, but it doesn't work when your text is all combined together. So that is why it's not a good practice to make use of underscore for bolding your text. And the next part is making use of italics. So setting your text as italic, so italic right there. And for the italic, you just have to add a one asterisk symbol, and let me say italic, and put it right here. And you can see now our text is in an italic form. So let me go back to dark mode and check right here. So we have an italic right here, you can see right here italic. And for that, and if you want to add an italic in another form, you can also use underscore. That is a single underscore, and also say italic. And as I already said, that is not in a best practice to make use of underscore when making use. And you can see here now for bolding we have double underscore, and for italic we have a single underscore. And here right here we have a double asterisk and a single asterisk for italic form, and so that goes vice versa. And let me go back to our play mode, and that is for the italic. And the next part is to making use of the both the italic symbol and the markdown symbol for bolding. And let's say we want to have a text in a bold form and also in an italic form. So what you have to do is so maybe we have a bold and italic text, bold and italic text. So to make use to let your text to be bold and also be in an italic form, you just have to have a 3 asterisk symbol and your text, and let me say syntactic, and right here, and you can see at the bottom that we have a bold text and also an italic text, and we can also do that with the underscore right here. So maybe bold, let's say syntactic again, and you can see now it's also worked the same, but as I already said, making use of the asterisk symbol is the best practice for writing your Markdown. And the next part is the table. So assuming you have a table of maybe a language, developers, and maybe the percentage of people making use of the language. So let's say right here, creating a table. So in Markdown we call it pipe table, and right there, so let's say pipe table. So right there, let me comment this out. So to create a table, first you need to have a pipe at the beginning, and from that you type in what you want to type in, maybe language. So language, and let's say year, and right here let's type in the used percent and used percentage. So let's say maybe the quantity of people making use of the language in a year. So right there, and in the next row you just have to add a pipe again. Add a pipe right here, a pipe, and within the pipe you don't have to put a space, and put a dash symbol anyhow you like. So let's say, and a pipe again, so and another maybe dash symbol and another pipe, and at the bottom, and as you can see here now we have 1, 2, 3, and right here we have 1 and 2, and so right here we still need another dash symbol, as you can see now, and a pipe at the back. And you can see right here now we are having a table. So let me go back to the dark mode, and you can see it very well in display mode, but when you are in dark mode you might not be able to see it very clearly. So let's say you can see right here, but let's go back to the plain mode, and that is it. And we have a table, and let me say we want to add a language, and let's add JavaScript. So let's say JavaScript, and maybe in a year, into year 2021, maybe year 2021, the percentage of people making use of JavaScript is maybe 45%, and that is it. And maybe let's predict maybe in 2022, and maybe Python, so Python language, so Python, maybe the in 2022, so let's say maybe in 2022 the percentage of people making use of Python will increase to 65%. And you can see right here we have a table, and that is how to make use of table right there. And let's say, and we have a table, and you just, it's not only text you can add to your table, you can also decide to bold your text. So right here, let me put, you can see right here that it does normally bold, and it won't bold like that because using a maybe a headings inside the table is not allowed. And right here, maybe, so let's say you can see here now that when using a span or span code, maybe a span code block, it works inside the table, and other forms of things you can make use inside your table. And you can also make use of, you see now our block quote is not working right inside a table, and there are some specific symbols not allowed inside a table in Markdown. And so, and that is for the table, and that is how to input a table in a Markdown. And for that, let's add another part, and which is the link. So assuming you have a link to a web page in your readme notes for your Markdown, inside your Markdown. So let's say you want to add a link to maybe let's say you want to add a link to your GitHub repo, assuming so. And right there, you put a bracket, and that is the angle bracket, and that is just have, maybe you want to type visit my GitHub repo, and right here I'll be adding this file into my GitHub repo, so you can download it and make use of it whenever you need it. So, and after that, you have to put in a curly bracket, and you can see right here the text turns to blue, and inside there you just have to put in your link, maybe http / maybe GitHub, so github.com / syntactic dev. So as soon as you click on it, this will take you to your repo, and that is it. It will take you to the link you put inside the bracket right here. And another thing we have is the let's say image. So you can also add an image in your Markdown. So let's say image. So adding an image in your Markdown. So image is also similar to link. So what you need to put is just a column. So right there, you just have to put in the link to the image, maybe. So right here, maybe let's just type in a test image, and right here just have to put, you can see immediately I put the curly bracket, it turns to an image icon right there. So this text is what will be displayed. Assuming you don't want to have any text after it, it won't show. And that is it. That is how to input an image in your Markdown. So assuming I have an image to a link right here, so let me click on this, so it make it show that the link is working, and let me click on it. So you can see right there now that I have my GitHub repo open directly. So let's go to another link. So let me type in maybe let's type in a Node.js logo. So right here we have a logo, so let's click on it. And let's copy the link to the image. So right here, copy image address. So copy image address, and go back, and right here within this image, so let's put in the address and paste it. Oh, it's longer than expected. And right here you can see the Node.js logo right inside the Markdown, and that is how to input an image inside your Markdown. And so let me remove this again, and that is how to add an image. And the last part we'll be doing for today is, and no, let me say second to the last part, and that is using the, and let's say maybe code block. And this code block is for any type of or maybe language. It's accessible for JavaScript, TypeScript, CSS, and C#, Python, Ruby, PHP. So you can make use of that. So to make use of it, you just have to put a 3 backticks, and let me say JavaScript right here, and at the bottom let me put in another 3 backticks. So assuming we want to loop through a test, maybe we want to write a code for looping through a test, so just type in maybe 4, let's say 4. And to make this show correctly, let me go back to the dark mode, and you can see right here, you can see in the dark mode, maybe for let I equal to 0, maybe let I equal to 0, and I is less than, maybe I is less than 10, and maybe I plus plus, and let me type in maybe console.log I, console, and write it back, maybe console.log I, and you can see right here that it shows it in a code way, and that is how to make use of your code to display it in a right format. And assuming this, we are writing this in a Python way, so let's type in Python, and you can see that this color change according to the language you are using. And let me go back to JavaScript, and you can see right here, you can see, and you can also put in maybe C#, and you can see right there. So that is how to add a direct code inside your Markdown. And with that, and the last part is the math symbol. So assuming you want to write in a math function, you want to write a math function inside your code, inside your Markdown, what you have to do is add in $2 symbols, and at the back add another $2 symbols. So at the middle you can add your math expression inside, and maybe we have 2 minus 4, and you can see right here, so 2 minus 4, you can see now it's in a math format, and multiplied by 3, that. And if you want to add some special symbols in math, you just have to add a backslash. So backslash, assuming we want to use over, and let me back and delete this, sorry. So let's say we have an expression called maybe 2x minus y divided by 3, 2x minus y, so let's just say 2x minus y raised to the power of 2, and that is raised to the power of 2. You just have to add the raised to power, and maybe raised to the power of 2, and to make use of the math over, so over, and you can see right here we have a over, and right here maybe my x minus y, and that means we have a direct math expression. And at the back we can also add maybe to make the text to be very huge, and let's say maybe huge and huge, So any text that comes after this huge will be very large, and let's say W, and you can see it's very large. And that is how to make a math expression using Markdown. And if you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos. So see you in my next video.